Yeah, yo, sometimes you gotta go to war for what you believe in. Sometimes you gotta go to war for what it is that you want, what you see that's right. I'm about to go to war, but lyrically. War cry, baby. Yeah. Hey yo, war cries echoes in the background. That's the sound of soldiers getting ripped up and tore down. Lyrically dismantle metaphors and manhandle. Marauder what we... Thank you for joining us for another episode and edition of Impose My Will podcast. I'm your host, your brother Ramone. With me, my other brother, my host, Joe. What's cracking with you?
And what's going on, everybody? What's going on, Brother Mo?
Oh, man, cooling. Very, very busy week, as you know. You also had a very busy week.
Man.
I'm just grateful that we have time to stop everything for a couple of minutes and get back on here and talk to the people. Give us some updates, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's what's up.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yep. So we want to dedicate this particular episode to the event that we went to last weekend, which was a local event in Niagara Falls, New York, at the Seneca Niagara Casino. It was Fight Night Presents. All Star Boxing Inc. presents Seneca Fight Night, which the main event was one of our local stars, I would say, Mikiah Kreps. So we went there. It was a movie. We had a wonderful time.
Always.
A ton of stuff happened. A coach got 2-pieced in the biscuit up. I mean, a lot went on, man. A lot went on. Everything that could kind of happen at a boxing event, it happened.
Right.
So shout out to All Star Boxing Promotions. Shout out to Seneca Niagara Casino for having us. Also, shout out to Seneca Niagara Casino for not hassling us for doing interview in the corner and doing our thing. You know what I'm saying? Some places will, kind of shun that, but not only did we do something there inside of the casino at the event, we did something outside the casino in front of the event the day before. Right.
Actually, they all showed love. The one dude, the one pass, he was like, eh.
Right.
Gave us a thumbs up.
Right. So it's really dope, and we appreciate that, man. Joe, let's jump right in, man. So I got the card pulled up here. The card it's not even really in order, but I kind of remember the order, so I'll walk us through it. So the first fight on the card, it was a non-televised fight. By the way, this event was televised on ESPN Knockouts.
Yes.
And from my understanding, because I think ESPN Knockouts is streamed in Latin America. As a matter of fact, when they were streaming it, you heard in the background it was speaking on Spanish. I don't know if you peeped that when we was there.
Yeah.
So I think it's actually out of Latin America, and that kind of makes sense because in the main event, the main fighter was she was Latina.
Yes. Marilyn Rivas.
Yes, Marilyn Rivas, most
Venezuela.
decorated person. Right, from Venezuela, most decorated person on the card. So that probably was more so a move for her fans. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and her Latin title, I guess, was up in that bout.
It was. It's gone now. But anywho, so the first fight on this card was Joseph Mesi versus Michael Shaw. Joseph Mesi, for anybody that's hearing that last name, he is was it nephew or cousin?
Yes.
He's the cousin.
The nephew.
He's the nephew
of Baby Joe Mesi.
Baby Joe Mesi, who, if you never heard of Baby Joe Mesi, he was heavyweight champion out of Buffalo, New York. Joseph Mesi being from Buffalo, New York as well. Joe, walk us through that fight, man.
Man, excellent fight. Now, what was it, Michael Shaw? His opponent? Yes. Michael Shaw from Atlanta. Big dude. Now, these is heavyweights we talking about in this fight here. He had one bout prior to this fight, and this was the debut for Joseph Mesi, which was, he put on an excellent display. This fight went was 4 rounds too. which was a lot of heavy punches, man. Going into this fight, with the heavyweight bouts or whatever, a lot of people was like, they're kind of slow. But this one here, it was action packed from the beginning to the end.
Action packed.
A lot of body shots, a lot of thumping, and I have to give kudos to Joseph Mesi because he looked very seasoned. He actually reminded me of Baby Joe Mesi a lot with his fighting style, a big boy focus. He was walking down Michael Shaw a lot, which I was shocked with. Michael Shaw, his size, but after he got popped a couple times, you notice he started backpedaling a little bit. He kind of was on the run. This fight, I honestly believe it should have got stopped sooner. Even though they went all the way due to the fact the couple shots that Michael Shaw took. So with Baby Joe Mesi, actually, sorry about that, Joseph Mesi,
right,
actually had Michael Shaw on the run pretty much throughout the whole fight. Well, I would say at least from the second round on. There was a lot of shots where I think he knocked him down twice. Once in the second round. I want to say again in the third round. But it was a couple. It was a couple times in the fight too, where he rocked Michael Shaw, and Michael Shaw was kind of like sitting on the ropes, and I was shocked that they didn't count those as actual knockdowns. So that's where I was referring to, where I believe they should have probably stopped the fight ahead of time, but it made it very entertaining. I can't wait. I honestly love to see this dude fight again. I definitely think that he's going to be somebody to watch out for coming up in the ranks. So yeah, like he showed a lot to where it's like, yo, we already got a champion, Mikiah. He could potentially be a future champion. So yeah, you definitely got to keep an eye out for that kid.
I agree, man. You broke it down perfectly. Not too much more for me to add. I was just surprised that nobody lights was put out. Specifically Michael Shaw lights, because he was in there doing a Tootsie Roll a bunch of times. His jaw was being tapped left and right, and I guess that's a testament to him. He's durable. You know what I mean? He could take a shot, but man, he was taking these shots, man, and I'm screaming to the top of my lungs like, ref, stop, stop the fight. He looked like he is getting killed out there in some instances, but in some other instances, he gained his composure back, and he was able to fight back. But all in all, through and through, I'm going to call him Baby Joe too. Joseph Mesi fought a really good fight for his debut, his pro debut. Looking forward to him. Don't be surprised if y'all see him on the show. I would love to interview him. Of course, me and Joe already talked about something like that. So, great showing from him, man. Great showing from him.
So if you hear this, Joe, holla.
Yeah,
Buffalo Boxing Gym, give us a buzz.
Absolutely. Or I'll buzz you. One or the other.
Right.
Yeah, one or the other. So moving on, the first fight that was televised.
Yes.
Was our good brother who, the people who watch this podcast have seen, which is Michael Vega, Michael the Body Snatcher Vega versus Chris Ortiz. This was a quick one, y'all. Yeah. This was a quick one. Yo, can I set this off?
Go ahead.
So the first thing that I saw once Mike, like literally from the first bell, the critiques that we had, which again, I'm not a professional. I'm critiquing you just based off of, from what I've seen, from what I watch, but I'm not a pro. You are, he is. But the critiques that we had was that he started off a little slow in his fights, and to compute, to basically figure out his opponent's, strategies, but because he just starting his pro debut, you only got a few rounds, 4 rounds to be exact. This fight, Mike came out the gate, letting that jab do the talking. You know what I'm saying? He was right out the gate, he came out throwing a jab, lining him up, I want to say, I can't remember the exact time, but the way it kind of happened was, as he was throwing his jab, his opponent stepped back. Mike threw a cross, hit him with a cross. And what's interesting is, if you ever seen Mike, you know, if anybody's from the area, if you ever seen him, he has a really long arm reach, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when you throwing that short jab, it doesn't look like a person has a long arm reach. So when his opponent went back, was going straight backwards, he should have zigzagged or something, but he went straight backwards. Mike's reach from his opposite hand was right there and caught him dead in the chin, man, and put him out. And that was it. That's the fight. We can move on to now, but no. But that was it. That was the end of the fight, man. He got a beautiful first round knockout. And we are extremely proud of him, because not only just because he got the first round knockout, but because you can see and you can tell that he was dedicated. He was locked in, and he was dedicated and to with making the changes to his, you know, to his style, to his game. And he heard the people straight up.
Mm-hmm.
He heard the people. A lot of times you get fighters and stuff who are arrogant, right? And they think that they can't take any constructive criticism from people who are not, you know, in the sport, either presently or in the past.
Right.
But that wasn't Mike. You know what I'm saying? Mike was like, okay, I see what's up. We're gonna work on it, which he told us in an interview. Him and his coach was working on kind of bridging some of those gaps that he had in his fighting style. So, and that's what he did, man. So hats off to him. Go ahead, Joe.
Yeah. And like one of the key things we talked about too in the previous when we talked about in the interview about him having that pro style.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
He still didn't change like who he was up. He went in there just more, like I said, just more locked in and more just like assertive with it. Like, and I would say it probably took him about the first 30, 45 seconds to really like download the information of what Ortiz was actually giving him. And then you saw him, you know, saying testing his distance, kind of like pouring out there, hitting with the jab or whatever solid.
Right.
And then, like you said perfectly, you know, Ortiz just literally just stepped back on that back foot, but dropped right into that cross, and it put him down. And I remember before we talked to Mike later or whatever, it was like, yo, we seen Ortiz, you know, coming back up the escalator or whatever, and he was still rubbing that jaw. Like, yeah, man. But yeah, man, like kudos to that brother Mike, man, you know, especially on his birthday. Like, that was a great win.
Yeah.
Like, he literally captivated the crowd from the get-go. Just everything about his presence that fight, man. Like, hats off to that brother. I'm looking forward to his next fight. It was amazing, bro. Amazing victory for him.
Listen, man, he hit him with that bazooka. And this is the thing. Even when you look at Ortiz, Puerto Rican boxer, very mobile. You know, one of the ways I should say that you can kind of immobilize a active fighter with active footwork is by using that jab as a sonar, you know, for timing and distancing. That's literally what happened. So I'm excited to see where he goes, you know, after this, now that he kind of found, oh, okay, I can use this jab against these guys and line them up. You know what I mean? And a lot of the times he fights shorter opponents because he's a bit tall. He fights shorter opponents, very mobile opponents. I can't wait until he fight a bigger boy about, you know, his size. We're gonna really see him bang out with somebody his height, his size. That's gonna be a dope fight. He don't have to chase him around. It'll be right there. So shout out to you, Mike, man. You know, you family of the show. And we'll be back in contact with you. I told him he stuck with us. He stuck. Yeah, he stuck with us. So no doubt. Next fight was Alexander Castellano versus Dominique Griffin. Personally, I didn't really get a chance to see much of this fight at that particular time. We were out in the hallway doing an interview with Mike. Joe, did you get to peep any of it?
The little what I did see of this fight still had the crowd going. Like, I mean, this audience was buzzing from the first fight to the last fight, but during this fight, you seen like the trade-off and the crowd was into it. What I did see was a lot of heavy trading back and forth. I would say a tactical slugfest between from what I saw. They both looked sharp. I can't say who really, saying was taking it, but when I did look, I noticed that Castellano was kind of, saying pushing the other guy back. I forget his name, excuse me. Or whatever, was actually like backing him down in the ring too. So
yeah.
But yeah, that was all I caught.
Yeah. And I was actually wrong with the order. This fight was the fourth fight, it wasn't the third fight, so I apologize. But yeah, I was looking from a distance because we was out there in the hallway waiting to do our interview. And it looked like a good fight, man. I just didn't catch enough of it to really comment on it. So thank you for giving us your take right there. The fight that actually happened before that, my apologies, was Spencer Wilcox versus Deshaun Johnson. I don't know. You start this one, but I'm listen, man.
Yo, this one was
Listen.
a surprise
Yes.
gift
Yes.
for us to watch. I
Yes, it was.
really like this kid, Spencer Wilcox, man.
Yes, man.
Yeah, this fight from the beginning to the end. Now, looking at his record, I think he was what, 8-0?
Yeah, I believe so. Spencer Wilcox.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was 8-0. And watching this kid bang,
Yeah.
like his pivot was on point. His
Mm-hmm.
jab was on point. His combinations was on point. He
Yeah.
could take a hit. He was delivering hits. Like everything about this kid was just like sounding on point.
Yeah.
And he was from across the bridge, y'all. So
Yeah.
show him love. He's from the region, Hamilton, Ontario.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Yo, this kid right here is special, man. Like I look forward to watching him fight, but I mean, yo, he had this kid moving backwards. He was dropping him. He rattled his jaw a couple times. I think he put him down once too.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, yeah, but yeah, unanimous decision on this one, like across
Yeah.
the board. He fought, man. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I look forward to watching Spencer Wilcox again, man. Like, whoo, big
Yeah.
time.
I mean, shout out to him, man. This guy he's got it all, man. I mean, that right hand, he landed that right hand at will every single time whenever he wanted
Yeah.
to. I mean, he hit him with that right hand so many times. I'm screaming to the top of my lungs like, bro, you don't see the right hand coming, but maybe it was too much. Maybe it was just too fast. I lost my voice that night. It was funny. His footwork is great. The way he put together combinations. He's a bit of a sharpshooter, man. The way he was picking these shots. Again, that right hand was just landing like just money every single time.
Right.
I mean, I was truly impressed. I wasn't even there for Spencer Wilcox, man. I wasn't even there for him, but I'm there for him now. You know what I'm saying? Like I've seen him, and I believe we've seen him fight before, but again, I had my mind on, I wanted to see every fight, of course, but I was like, we're here in support of Mikiah, support of Mike and stuff like that. Nah, Spencer Wilcox was phenomenal. He's a phenomenal talent. And yeah, we're gonna go over there, go see him too, man. I can't wait for the next.
His level changes too was nuts. Like he would drop down, hit catch him, jab to the body,
Absolutely.
jab pop back up combination. Yo, yeah.
Yeah.
He got the goods. He got the goods, bro.
He's special. Google, YouTube, Spencer Wilcox from Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, and just get familiar with him because the kid is going places, man. He was spectacular that night.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, moving on, man. Moving on to the co-main event.
Yes.
Co-main. This fight was between Geffred and Guyot from Buffalo, New York, but of Congo background. Is that how you say it? Congolese? I don't know.
Congolese is the people, but from the
right,
the Republic of Congo.
Congo. So he's of Congolese heritage. He fought Wilfredo Flores. Interesting. I mean, so there's a lot going on in this fight, right? there's a lot going on in this fight. Joe, you want me to start or you want to start, man?
I actually let you start this one. Go ahead.
Okay, so from my understanding, what I was told there on fight night during the fight, these two brothers, they know each other, right? They have history. I wasn't even gonna touch on it, man, but I'm gonna touch on it a little bit because it happened in this part of the fight. But Wilfredo used to train under Mike's coach at Buffalo Boxing Club. So they know each other, right? He knows the coach and everything. I guess eventually something happened. They ended up either starting their own gym or going to another gym in Hamburg. And so I believe
the trainer.
The trainer did, right, right. So, you know, this is kind of like your crosstown rivalry kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? Like you had that thing going on. As we know, Geffred is a popular fighter. As a matter of fact, Geffred is actually my favorite boxer currently coming out of Buffalo. So you know, you got your kind of rivalry going on between these two. That's I'm assuming that's what fueled the venom of this fight, because it was a lot of venom in this fight, in the fight and after the fight. It was a lot. But speaking on the fight, it was a very competitive fight. It was a great fight. It was a great fight for one. It was a very competitive fight. Geffred showed a lot of tactical maneuvers, a lot of angles, a lot of different shots. But Wilfredo, he was just a bigger puncher. He would sit down on his punches a lot. And you know, I would say if we looked at the punch stats, Geffred probably landed more punches, but Wilfredo absolutely landed the bigger power punches, right?
100%.
Ended up dropping Geffred a few times, right?
Twice.
2 times,
Yeah,
right?
twice.
Twice. I mean, busted him up real good. I mean, just really a big puncher. Just he was kind of a big guy in general. He's a bigger dude.
Oh yeah.
But Geffred got that dog in him. Kept getting up. And the funny thing is, it wasn't like he was being pushed back. He was pushing forward. He was pushing forward, hitting them with beautiful shots, beautiful combos and stuff. But again, you know, the power difference was just was just too much. I feel like Geffred probably should have been on the defense a little bit more. Maybe counterpunched a little bit more and just been more defensively responsible, especially after you get dropped the first time. You felt his power, you know what it's like. But he chose not to fight that way. He chose to fight right on top of him, sometimes in a phone booth. And that may not have been the best. That wasn't the best strategy for that particular fight. Wilfredo just, once he landed, I mean, he landed with some really good power and caused a lot of damage. So go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, this fight for me probably might have been my fight of the night.
Mine too.
Yeah, this like I said, you felt the tension from the moment of the walkout. The presence was there from both fighters, ready to go. Both corners, you could kind of feel like, yo, it's something here. I think me and you even said it before the fight. It was like, yo, it's something, something about this right here, the tension here. And and that was before we learned that they had history. But like you said, the size difference between Wilfredo and Geffred, it was kind of noticeable. This fight honestly reminded me a lot of at least the sizing against Canelo versus Berlanga. It kind of reminded me, it gave me that vibe. But like I said, the battle between these two, it was back and forth. Like I said, nothing to take away from Geffred because he fought an amazing fight. But what was the difference was, I would say, Wilfredo's experience a little bit.
Yeah.
Because I think he had about a good 30 rounds difference than Geffred did. But then, like I said, his size. And he would, like, Geffred would have him, like, tired. And then next thing you know, you see Wilfredo almost like just immediately like start moving slow, but he'll just sit all the way down on his punches. And when he hit him,
Yeah.
that just slowed down Jeffrey's momentum, like completely, like
Yep.
dropped it. It's almost like playing a video game. You know how you get hit with that Hadouken, and
Yep.
your joint just drop. That's exactly
Yeah.
how it was. But
Right.
them boys slugged it out, man. Hell of a fight to both fighters. Um, it was kind of whack with how things ended at the end.
Yeah.
It didn't really take away from the fight because that fight was just that great, that amazing. But to see, saying that the local beef,
Yeah.
that saying that kind of put a little taint on it. But
Yeah.
luckily nothing crazy, saying got out of hand or whatever, man. And like I said, hats off to both fighters. Jeffrey, I look forward to your return. Hopefully we can get a chance to sit down with you and also Wilfredo, man. Like, he was a hell of a fighter.
Yeah.
I would like to see him fight again.
Yep.
Even to sit down with him, man, and just get get his opinion on the fight and just where he's gonna go next after that. So there's a hell of a display from both fighters, man. Hell of a display.
I agree, man. I agree. Hopefully we get to sit down with Geffred soon, man. I would love to. Like I said, that's currently my favorite boxer in the city. So I definitely want to sit down with him and pick his brain and learn about him. Wilfredo, I'm a fan now. You made me a fan.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I wasn't really familiar with you prior to this, but I'm a fan and I'll be looking out from here on out, man. Love to sit down with you too, man. So moving on to the final fight, the main event of the night. Listen, man,
Fights.
Yes, Mikiah Kreps versus Marilyn Rivas. As y'all know, we spoke about Mikiah on the show multiple times at this point. She is. I like to call her, Neo in the Matrix. When it comes to local women's boxing, I don't think there's been a woman that I know of who's made this kind of noise. Not saying a woman who hasn't made it further, had more fights, so on and so forth from the region, because that may not be true. But as far as making the noise, as far as bringing out the people, she really filled that joint up. Like, and like she know a lot of people, and a lot of people, they really support her,
Yeah.
and she filled that joint up on Friday night. So, without further ado, Joe, you want to do the honors?
All right. This match right here, 8-round competition. Like I said, Mikiah Kreps, Marilyn Rivas, excellent display. There's nothing to take away from what Mikiah did. Unanimous decision. Took complete control of this fight from the beginning to the end.
Absolutely.
If you're not familiar with Marilyn Rivas before this fight, she was a former champion.
Yep.
Former champion. She had just recently lost her title. She was the Latin champion, which Mikiah is now the Latin champ. Kudos to her.
That's right.
The one thing that I've noticed with Marilyn is like the age. She had a lot of experience with her fight, but she looks like she's slowing down. She couldn't really keep up with Mikiah. Mikiah was active from the beginning of the fight to the end of the fight. Mikiah's stamina and conditioning was A+ throughout the whole thing. Her level changing, going to the body and bringing it back up, a combination, just staying moving with her. Pretty much walked her down the whole fight. And Maryland actually has a size difference. She had a longer reach and a height advantage against Mikiah. But Mikiah got that dog, bro.
She got that dog.
He got that dog, man. Like,
really do.
They had a few good trades in there, but Mikiah, hands down, complete domination. she deserves everything that she got that night with the championships. And yo, she is championship ready. Yo, she's ready for that title fight.
I agree, man. I agree. She listen, man. She has a when she gets into this groove. It's for me. It's kind of like music. Like it's like a rhythm. You know what I'm saying? Um, very methodical in her movement. Um, shot placement is great. The way she put it together too. She put them combos together. She throw the jab. She does it all. She cut off the ring very well. It
Yeah,
was
ring control is crazy.
ring control was crazy. Ring generalship is crazy. She it was a good exchange. It was a good fight, but it was never a point where you were like, oh, this is a close fight. It was never really close. It was a good fight, but it wasn't close, which is great because her last fight, she did get some pushback, right? Some people thought that she may have lost her last fight. It was very close. She mounted a comeback at the very end of the fight. This fight, she fought an even tougher opponent, I would say. Yes, a battle, worn kind of opponent who has a lot of experience, but a two-time champion nonetheless. And she went out there and she left no room for any doubt about how this fight went. From the opening bell to the end, like Joe said, she got that dog in her. She was pushing all night on this girl, and so I was very impressed with the fight. I can't wait to sit down with Mikiah. I can't wait to sit down with Mikiah. I got so much to ask, so much to talk about. But what I really want to talk about, because she's always kind of had these grooves she get into. But when she started going out to California to train, at one point she had Manny Robles in her corner. I think the coach is still from that same gym, right? Because that's the same gym that I see her training out of when she goes out to California. So when she went from her previous coach, who's still there, which is her mother, you know what I'm saying, her mom's,
Right.
to going over to getting a more seasoned, more famous coach, you can see the difference. You can see the difference, but she's still Mikiah. Like she's still, you see her when she do that little head movement, swaying and all that. That's been there since the beginning. So man, I can't wait to talk to her about that and about the training out there, because obviously, is working very well, man. Beautiful fight. Beautiful fight. She did an incredible job. The city thanks you for bringing us out, another time. And you doing your thing, man. Keep winning, champ. Keep winning. And you're right.
That's right.
I definitely think she is ready for a title fight. I think she
100%.
is. Yep. I think she's ready. Hopefully, if not the next one, the one after. People got to remember too, this women's boxing, and the rosters are not that large. Right now, she's 9-0 today.
Right.
You got people who became champions, females who became champions at right around that time. So I believe she's ready. I think it's time. I think it's time for her to get in there and fight for a belt, man. So, any more to say about that one?
No, not much more, man. Just say we hope that we be able to, next time you see us, hope we can get these interviews with them. We get that sit down with Mikiah, Geffred, Joe Mesi, Wilfredo, even sit down with Mike again. But it's just like, shout out to Niagara Falls, Buffalo for representing Western New York. For a hell of a showcase, Seneca Niagara for putting together an All-Star Inc. All-Star Boxing Inc. for putting on an amazing event.
Absolutely.
Actually enjoy these boxing events. Hopefully we could get more, a couple times a year. Which would be amazing, man. Like, excellent showcase. If y'all haven't been to one before, make sure y'all get to the next one. Like you said, man, it's a movie. It's an event that you're gonna be talking about all weekend, which it definitely was.
Word. Absolutely. Before we get up out of here, we do want to talk about one particular fight that's happening this weekend. We know we didn't get a chance to really break down the card and talk about all the fights. Again, we just kind of been out. We've been out in these streets, man. We've been busy. But we could not let this show end without talking about the big fight, Dmitry Bivol versus Beterbiev, which is happening this weekend. It's Saturday, right?
Saturday,
Saturday,
6 p.m.
6 p.m. This one of the ones. This one of the ones right here. I've been waiting for this fight for a long time. You know, it's always been talks about these two fighting, and now it finally happened. As a matter of fact, it was a postponement because of an injury. So now we're here.
It was Beterbiev that had an injury, right?
Yes,
hand injury, or shoulder, or something like that.
Yep. Beterbiev had an injury. I can't remember exactly which injury it was, but
I want to say shoulder.
Yeah. But now we're here. Now we are here. So we wanted to. Well, I wanted to. I don't know if Joe is going to, but I am going to make a prediction. I don't know if Joe wants to. You know what I mean?
Man.
Yeah. But I'm gonna make
this one is hard, man, because like, well, if y'all don't know, both of these fighters is both undefeated.
Yeah.
Bivol to me is probably the best technical boxer in boxing right now, in my eyes. Watching him, man, his skill setting is very on point, yo. It's like perfection, like you said about Mikiah. Watching him is just, if you guys go back and watch when he fought Canelo,
right,
and that'll tell you everything right there.
Yep.
And then Beterbiev, yo, the man has a 100% knockout rating. The chances of somebody hitting the mat is very high.
Yep.
With this fight. And it's a part of me that leans more towards Beterbiev with this fight.
I like it.
But at the same time, too, Canelo couldn't put Bivol down.
No.
So, with that being said, even though I'm leaning towards Beterbiev, and that's just the fight, the excitement part of me, I could definitely still see this fight turning possibly to a draw. But I'm gonna take Beterbiev with this one. I'm gonna lean towards Beterbiev.
I like it. I like that prediction. He didn't shy away. I like that, Joe. That's good. That's very good. So I mean, truth be told, right? Like, there's so many variables to this fight that really anything can happen, and that's the case for most fights. But in this particular fight, there's anything can happen. Beterbiev, he has one punch knockout power. You know what I'm saying? So you talking about from first round to the last round, you got to be on point, because if he touch you the right way, that could be it, right? And then we look at Bivol, and like you said, he's probably one of the slickest fighters. His IQ is extremely high in the ring, his ring IQ. And so with that being said, I think if Bivol can manage to take Beterbiev into deep waters, into later rounds, I think he has the better chance of winning the fight. I think if Beterbiev puts the pressure on early and is successful early, I think that he will. I think that he could find, the win that way. But I'm going with Bivol. Because, again, his IQ, his ability to make adjustments, the way he does. Let's just take Bivol versus Canelo for an example. Canelo's a big puncher. Canelo has an iron chin. You know what I mean? He basically breaks you down to the body and then work his way upstairs later on. You know what I mean? So there are some similarities between him and Beterbiev. Bivol kind of easily outboxed Canelo for the most part.
You're right.
Not saying that this is going to be the same case, but when it comes to like a comparison, that's really the only comparison that I could really go off of on how Bivol will handle a big puncher. And I think his boxing IQ will see him to a victory, man. That's what I think. That's what I believe.
The only difference between, I would say, Canelo and Beterbiev, Canelo had to come up the weight class to fight Bivol.
Sure.
Where Beterbiev is already here.
Well, it's a few differences. One, Canelo is taking more damage than he has.
Yeah,
he had to. Again, and Canelo had to come up. Beterbiev is right here. So there's and again, like I said, there's tons of variables. To take into consideration, but skills pay the bills. At the end of the day,
you're right about that.
Skills pay the bills, and I think just on a skill level, I think Bivol is one or two steps. I think he's a few steps above him. But when it comes to, to being a puncher, I think Bivol is the bigger, better puncher. And if he can let them hands go and land, it's going to be a problem. I don't care who you are. It's going to be a problem for any. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We were just talking about off air how, he doesn't even fully load up on his shots and he gets you out. He gets you out of there. You know what I'm saying? And for a puncher, he's really good at cutting off the ring.
Yeah,
he's really good at cutting off the ring. So again, it's mad variables to this fight. But my prediction is if Bivol can take him into the deeper to the deep waters into the later rounds, that Bivol will be successful. But we'll see. He might get, who knows?
Beterbiev, the power.
At Bivol. Yeah. Listen, y'all.
Oh, yeah.
That's it for us, man. Pose My World podcast, as you can see. We hope to get with y'all soon, watching the fight with y'all. And we'll be back, man. We'll be back next week. Do this thing again.
Definitely. 100%. Y'all don't forget on YouTube, when you check us out, like, comment, subscribe, share, tell a friend to tell a friend.
That's
or whatever. Come check us out, man. And yeah, let's talk some boxing, y'all.
Let's talk some boxing, man. Let's have a conversation.
All right. Peace.